The importance of biographies to your business. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. I mentioned months and months and months ago that I was in the middle of a book that I was really enjoying, and I wasn't going to reveal what it was until I was completely finished, to kind of get myself to finish the book, because it takes me forever to finish books. And it was the case in this one also, although it didn't take as long as many of the other books that I still have unfinished. But this is one by Rich DeVos. How to be, well, it's not by Rich DeVos. This is by Pat Williams, also with Jim Denney. This is an old worn out copy that I got somewhere. How to be like Rich Box. How to be like Rich DeVos, co-founder of Amway and owner of Orlando Magic. And then another sub-headline says, Succeeding with Integrity in Business and Life. Good book. Ironically, not exactly a biography, but has a whole lot of biographical elements. So the whole book is about one guy, but it's not necessarily taking his life from the beginning to end and going through the story of his life like a lot of biographies, like most biographies do. This is actually one where this Pat Williams was working for the Orlando Magic, and that's how he got to know Rich DeVos, and basically started out talking about how he met him and how he ended up finding out more and more and more about him through time. And this whole book is made up of a million different interviews with different people. Him basically asking them what they liked about him, how they met him, what were unique situations that they found themselves in with him. And he then breaks it down. This is one of the things that Pat Williams has done in a number of books. He has a whole series of how to be like books. So he has the one that's how to be like Walt Disney and so forth. He breaks it down into basically steps of how you can be like Rich DeVos in terms of the virtues that the guy has. So this was a guy, him along with Jay Van Andel were the ones that started Amway, which is a major company. You can go and look up all the background on that company, a long history. I think they started in, what was it, 58, 59, something like that. And he just passed away a couple years back. Very interesting person, very intriguing. What's really funny is toward the end of the book, Pat Williams says that what's amazing is all the people he talked to, all the interviews, he couldn't get anyone to say anything negative about him. He couldn't get anyone to give a bad story about this guy. That everyone always had good stuff, and even if people had a situation that was awkward or weird around him, it always turned around to his benefit in the long run. He always came out looking better than they originally thought in the beginning. And I mean, for one thing, if it is true, it's great. It's great that the guy had such a wonderful life. If any part of it isn't true, the guy had amazing PR because he got everyone around him to think he was a wonderful guy, one way or the other. And just looking at everything, it's got some points on the back here. You know, everything from risk taking to mentoring to putting people first to salesmanship to philanthropy, focus on marriage and family, patriotism, faith in God, so on and so forth. Very interesting book, really worth reading. Even though it's not a direct biography, I love reading biographies. And it's not just about business people. If you're a business person, you watch this show for that content. It's not just about that. It's also about just finding people with the qualities of the type of person that you'd like to be. Because you'll be able to find a way to tie it back to business. It's like I always do with movies and so forth. A lot of movies have nothing to do with business on the outside, but so many of the principles that they espouse all come back to the same principles that could make your business great. So I'm going to set this one back here. It's going to be one of our ones that we got in the background here. Rich DeVos, great, really good book. The one thing about the book is it gets tiring in some parts because the guy was so he was very, very predictable in certain areas. And so when it takes a certain area of his life, it's this person said this thing about him, this person said this thing, this person said, and it tends to be the same thing over and over again. It's a good book to take your time with, to read before going to bed, something like that, because it's almost like a giant book of affirmations, really. But it's something to live up to. It's something. I have a friend that that had met him, that knew him, and considers him a huge hero of his own, even to this day. Is the type of person that you'd hope you can live up to some extent. And that's just great. It's one of those things that it really did leave me off feeling like a lot of things were possible when everything around us is always telling us it's impossible to be virtuous and be able to have everything you want out of life and be able to give back and be able to have lots of friends and everything else. So good idea. Biographies are really important for that type of thing. There's a deep motivation that I think we all need to a certain extent, and we need to see people that have made it to some extent out there in life so that we can continue going, and it takes away a lot of the loneliness that comes along with the entrepreneur's journey, and just it's inspiring on a level that is tough to put into words. So hopefully you get into biographies. Even if you don't physically read a book, go and get an audiobook on some of these great people, or someone that you'd like to learn more about. Go and do it. I think it'll enrich your life. So you've got that, and that's just a quick idea from me to you tonight. If you're looking for a book that is not a biography, but something more instructional, something to help you along with to strategize ideas in your business, especially to keep you competition proof, go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. You can get a free copy at amazonproofbook.com or buy one wherever books are sold. We'll be back here tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.